Good morning. So we had completed till verse 16. So it was 14, 15, 16 these are the three verses that we did. So as a recap, I'll just tell you that Shri Krishna is giving an understanding to Arjuna that everything comes from sacrifice. Now when everything is coming from sacrifice, without sacrifice, we should not do anything. That means first, when we perform a sacrifice, you have to give it as an offering to the divinity, whoever it might be. Never partake of it immediately. That means don't start enjoying it before you have given. Normally people enjoy it before they have given, which means that you have already decided that I am going to enjoy it. So this is something we need to avoid. Shri Krishna is giving an answer. And then he says that everything goes as an offering to the divine. Now, when it is said that the offering is going to the divine, it means that whatever God that is connected to that particular place, location, thing, is getting the offering. Like I said, if it is the eyes, the connection is with the God connected with I, then he gets the offering first. If it is connected to the tongue, so there are two gods which are called Ashwini Kumars, so they get the offering first. See, the distribution of these divinities is across the being. So the whole body has a distribution of what kind of gods that are there. Alright? So we all have to give these gods the offering. Once we give them the offering, they will give back to us something which is called prasad. Prasad means something that comes from them. So we offer God maybe a kilo of pedas or some sweet. If you have seen in the temple, the Panditji will take one small piece of it and keep it over there. And the rest of the box he will give it to you and say, you take it with you. So this he does literally everywhere. You will find every temple this is what happens. So in our life also you will find that when we are doing puja at home, we put a plate of naivedya. Naivedya means that is an offering. So we maybe decorate a plate of sweets and food, whatever that we have made for the divinity, and we offer it, and after we have done the prayers, we take it back. That is called prasad. This is how the whole thing works. So even in Christians and other religions also, they will say grace before meals. So they are first offering to God. This is how the whole thing works. So he says that those who do not follow the wheel of creation thus set in motion, they are not performing their duties. It is written. This is how you got to do. So whatever the terms and conditions of the Vedas are, those are rule book. It's actually the framework, the rule book which says this is how it happens. If we do not do that, but if we first taste it. So I have made some sweets for showing it to God and I want to taste it first and then offer it to Him. That is wrong. Then it is you are indulging your senses. Now this is where we had ended. Now there was one question which was raised, so I will answer that question as well. So should we not offer to the gods or should we offer only to Krishna? Well, there is a very beautiful verse which we are going to come across in the future, in which Shri Krishna says that everything that you offer to any divine being, that means any God that you are offering, finally the whole thing comes to me alone. So all these gods are finally responsible to Shri Krishna. This verse is there in the Bhagavadgita. We will come to this verse somewhere in the future. So we will have to wait for that verse to come. So just now you just have to understand that it is better to offer directly. In the parlance of the material world, if I know the top minister directly, why would I want to go and talk to his peon? Okay? Or his junior, or somebody who is still down the hierarchy. If I go directly to the top, he will solve my problem for me. That means he will tell the downlines, this is the issue, please solve it. But if I go from down up, what happens? If I go from down up, the problem is that I can get stuck up in the middle. Everybody wants to take their bribe, which is not a good thing. Then it may not reach the top, Shri Krishna doesn't get it. So it is better to give Shri Krishna and then let him handle it for others. So the idea is that. Alright? So now we will start with the new verse. We are doing chapter 3, Bhagavad Gita, verse 17. He who takes delight in the self alone and is gratified with the self and is contented with the self has no duty. The self-realized beings have absolutely no duty whatsoever. Which means human beings who are there in the material world, which are everybody literally, 7.5 billion or 8 billion, as many people in this earth and as many people who are there anywhere else in this universe, wherever. Their job is to do their duty. Without performing duty, you cannot get anything. But the enlightened being, the sage, is not at all expected to do anything. Did you get it? There is no prescribed duty for the sage. Absolutely none whatsoever. Which means that if the sage is having his wife and children physically in the material world, he doesn't owe it to anybody as a duty. Got the answer? So if it is Tukaram Maharaj was a great sage, he does not owe it to his wife or children or the society anything. So there is no need for him to do any duty for anybody. He can just sit in one place and keep on doing his bhajan, kirtan, whatever he wants to. If it is Mirabai, she is not expected to perform her duty to her husband. Got it? There is no duty which she owes to her husband because she is enlightened. If it is Kabir, if it is any other person, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Ramana Maharashi, whoever it might be, they don't owe it to the world. There is no duty to be performed. You cannot expect Ramakrishna Paramahansa to go and work for a salary. Do you get the point? So these sages and saints who are enlightened beings have nothing left to do in this world. They can just sit over there doing nothing. They don't owe to anybody. No husband, no wife, no children, no society, nothing. What comes to them, they can eat. If somebody is giving them something, it is okay. If somebody puts a golden crown on their head also, it is okay. It is as good as trash. For them, everything in the world is as good as trash, including his own relatives. Whatever objects that they own in the world is worthless for them. So he who takes delight in the self, or self-realized person, is gratified with the self. The self itself is always satiated. The self is not at all interested in doing anything. Self-realized beings are lost in the self. So they don't have to do any duty. So there is no, because they are contented in the self, they owe nothing to anybody. Alright? So they don't owe any duty to any person. We'll go to the next verse. We are doing Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 verse 18. In this world, that great soul has nothing to gain by action, nor by abstaining from action, nor has he selfish dependence of any kind on any creature. This is a very strange thing, isn't it? Everybody is dependent on somebody. A wife is dependent on husband, husband is dependent on wife, children are dependent on parents, parents are dependent on children. This is how the world works. You have animals in your farm, you owe it to them. It's a duty of yours to go and feed them, take them for grazing, do whatever that is needed. If you have a dog, it is your duty to take care of the dog. If you have birds, you have to take care of those birds. If you have children, it is your job and your duty to take care of your children. So that is a duty. But the same is not valid for the self-realized beings. In these worlds, the great souls have nothing to gain by action or by inaction. These people who are enlightened people, there is nothing that they will come to. That means there is no profit that comes about. What happens is, we believe, I have given so much money to this person. Like suppose if I give some 1,000 rupees to Krishna Paramahansa, or if I give to Ramana Maharshi, or Sai Baba of Shirdi, or some other great saint or sage who is an enlightened person, people think that they have done some great favor. Actually, for these people, that money is as good as dirt. They have nothing to gain from it, nothing to lose, so they may take the money and give it to somebody else. It doesn't matter. Any person who believes that they owe it to the society, you have done this, you owe it to the society so much, is not a person who understands spirituality. A spiritual person doesn't have to do anything. No, he can abstain from even performing an action. Think about it. If there is somebody dying in front of him, there is no need for him to save that person. If a child is born, there is no need for him to get excited that the child is born. We all get excited, human beings, the way we are, all human beings feel, oh, I got to enjoy this, I got to, get something, do something with that thing over there. So think about it. If an enlightened person is going and watching a movie, what difference does it make to him? Zero, no difference. If he cries, if he laughs, if he does anything, any action of any kind, which happens with his body, what is the big deal in that? There is nothing. He doesn't owe it to anybody. So this is what Shri Krishna is saying. So, he has no dependence of any kind on any creature, doesn't have to depend. The beauty of this line is that human beings in the world today believe, oh, that person owes it to someone. There is nothing that they owe. Nothing at all. Got it? So, these two verses are about enlightened people. So, we'll move to the next one. So, we are doing chapter 3, Bhagavad Gita, verse 19. Therefore, go on efficiently doing your duty at all times without attachment. Doing work without attachment, man attains the supreme. This is meant for every person on this planet Earth. This verse clearly defines that whether you like it or not, your job is to do your duty. You owe it to the society, you owe it to your children, you owe it to your wife, your husband, you owe it to your parents, your relations, your bosses, companies, institutions, governments, everything. So your job is to do your duty diligently. whether you like it or not. If you have got enlightened, then that's a different story altogether. You don't have to owe it to anybody. So isn't it better to get enlightened and not do anything about it than to just think, okay, I have to do this duty. It's so painful. Sometimes people believe that, that doing some duty, they are doing some great favor. It's like, say for example, you are giving some money to your parents because you want to take care of, And some people believe that they are doing some great favor by giving money to their parents. No, you owe it to them. It's a duty. It's a worldly duty that you got to perform. Some people say, why should I give alimony if they have gone into all this divorce and all that? Or why should I give child subsistence? What they call it, I don't know what they call it. You owe it to them. Just because you took a divorce doesn't mean that I don't have to give money to anybody. That's not a done thing. It's a material worldly law. You owe it to that person. There are no choices in that. It's a duty. You are bound to do the duty. And you cannot shy away from paying your taxes. You have to pay. Some people are so mean, they will not want to pay tax. There are people, I was hearing about one person yesterday. That person says, I don't want to pay the tax to the government, so I will give you money just like that. You don't have to cut any bill. Many years ago, when I was doing business, from the time I started till the day I left it, every product over there was billed out, every product, the duty and the taxes were paid. They used to call it GST, General Sales Tax or Sales Tax. Everything was paid. So till I was actually indulging in this kind of a thing, I had to do my duty. I owed it to the government. So you have to do it. And then you owe it to whosoever concerned. So this is what he says. Therefore, go about doing your duty efficiently. You can't be doing it half-hearted. You can't say, I don't like my boss, I'm not going to do that work for him. If you think that you can get away with murder with your boss, you got what I'm saying? By not doing your duty and thinking, let it be, he's a very mean person, so I am not even going to submit these details. You don't understand. It is not your boss who has given you the job. The job which the boss has got has also been given by God only. Sometimes people say, why is this fellow the Prime Minister or why is that fellow the President? Who has told you? Who has said these words? Well, don't you know it is they are God appointed people. You have no right to challenge God's decisions. So, many a times people used to say, why is this Donald Trump over there? Or why is that Devagowda over there? All names people used to take. I used to tell them, don't talk like this. The reason is because God themselves have appointed these people in big places. And tomorrow there may be a change in the government. There will be a new minister coming in. You are not responsible for it. It is not because of some vote of yours. It is God's decision to put this person in that position. And your duty as a human being is to do the duty diligently. Please remember these words. People think that they don't owe it. They should not do it. I don't like this fellow, that's why I'm not going to do. You may not like your boss, you may not like your wife, you may not like your children. Sorry. Likes and dislikes are not important over here. It is the duty. And Shri Krishna says, do your duty efficiently. What does efficiency mean? Efficiency can be 1.0, isn't it? If you remember all your physics, chemistry, biology, all those subjects. The work done. You know that. Effort, work, like that. So, sir, always remember, highest of the effort. You are not doing for your boss, you are doing for yourself. At the end of your life, there is a very big book which is there, which Chitragupt will open and he will ask you, why did you refrain from doing this? Whereas it is your duty to perform this task. I didn't like my boss, that's why I never did it. I hated my wife, that is why I never did it. Okay, is it difficult to wash a plate, wash certain things, get vegetables? Oh, that is not my duty, that is her duty. Who told you that? Every duty is your duty. Human beings believe that this is not my job. Are you there in that place? If you are not an enlightened person, you cannot shy away from any duty. Please remember this. And that duty has to be performed efficiently without attachment. The word without attachment is very important. Means, I am doing this because I like this person. No likes. I hate this person, that's why I am not doing it. Likes, dislikes. I don't like this job, I like this job. I do it because I owe it to my children. Sorry, you don't understand. You don't owe it to everybody. It's your duty. And the duty needs to be performed efficiently without attachment. This is the most important verse for those who want to get enlightened. The reason is because if you do not perform your duty the way it is required to be done efficiently, are you making full use of God-given qualities? Human beings have the tendency, I don't know, this I can't do, this is not possible. Every human being says these words. I don't know how this is done, it's not my job. You see, you have a phone. In the phone there is a battery. You may have an electronic vehicle, EV. There is a battery inside. Do you want peak performance of the battery or do you want the battery to work in spurts? You want peak performance from the battery, isn't it? It's called efficiency. If you as a human being is expecting efficiency from your batteries, from your material worldly requirements, your car should go exactly at a particular speed, it should perform properly. Isn't that the reason why you do your work? Got it? You want your body to perform properly. Is it not important to keep your body healthy properly? Then, efficiency of this battery also has to be the highest. What makes you think that you can perform at a lower capacity? If you don't perform properly, you are not going to be hauled up by the person. Your boss will say, this person is like this only, I don't care a damn. Your boss may say this. But at the end of your life, you still owe it to someone up there who is going to sit with his books open and do an audit for you. You know what an audit is, no? Life audit. And in the life audit, he is going to ask you the question, when you could have done this job very nicely, why is it that you left this job and said, I don't care, I don't want to do it, this is not a good job? Oh, you think you have got that job? The boss has given. Krishna, he has given you this job. Don't you dare say that you have got the job. You are a worthless person. Krishna has put you in that position. You owe it to Krishna, not to some ordinary person there. So always remember this. Anything that you do, whether it is taking care of children, Your wife, your household, your husband, your dogs, your children, you name it, anything. Anywhere, efficiency is a must. You have to do your job efficiently. Don't give reasons. No attachments of any kind. Now do you understand why this verse is so important? And then he says something. Doing work without attachment, man attains the supreme. If you do your work in a detached manner, not because of likes and dislikes and wants and needs and desires, no, nothing like that. Your job is your job is your job, period. Doing your duty diligently, efficiently is very important. So when you do your job diligently and efficiently to the highest of your capabilities and the capacity that you have been given by God, then you can attain Shri Krishna directly. So which means, he's given another secret over here. Do you want to come to me? Then, whatever work that I have laid out for you, do that work efficiently. And don't say that this person has given me that job, why should I do this in my marriage, I don't care. This, no, you are not supposed to say any of those. That means it's called attachment. Got it? Right. So we will do the next verse. We are doing Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 verse 20. It is through action without attachment alone that Janaka and other wise men reach perfection. Having in view the maintenance of the world order too, you should take to action. Right. So he is giving an example over here. There are lots of people in the past, like Janaka was a king. He was diligently performing his duty. When he diligently performed his duty to the highest of his capabilities, he was able to reach enlightenment. So this is one example he is given. So, having in view the maintenance of the world order too, you should take to action. Don't keep this idea in mind that I am doing for this person. When you think you are doing some job for, let us say, your children or your wife, you're doing you're earning money, or you're going to work, and you feel you are doing it for your children, or you are doing it for your family. Sorry, that is not what Shri Krishna is talking about. Shri Krishna is saying, whatever that you do, any job that you do, you are just one spoke in the wheel. You are just one piece of the puzzle. If the piece is not there, the puzzle is not complete. Is that correct? You see, those who have seen the puzzle, they have those different pieces of puzzle. If one piece is missing from there, is the puzzle complete? No. So Sri Krishna is saying, for the world order, you are also supposed to perform the duty of yours. You are not doing it for the whole people around you, but actually you are doing it for the world. Right? So let us take a watch. I am talking about the old watches. You know those wind-up watches that are there? If one toothed wheel is missing, or even if one tooth is missing, think about it. In the toothed wheel inside the watch, one tooth is missing. Do you think the watch will give correct time? No. Do you think that toothed wheel has to be perfect? Yes. Do you really believe that if the toothed wheel can just, okay, let it be, I don't care? Sorry, it's not going to give the right time. So now think about yourself, and please put this in your mind, clearly. You are here for greater things in this world. You are just a tiny spoke in the whole creation. If you do not do your duty correctly, you are spoiling the entire correction, the entire thing that is supposed to go ahead with this world. The world has to go ahead. You not doing your duty in time, you not doing your duty the way it is prescribed, are jeopardizing not only yourself, but you are jeopardizing the whole creation, the world at large. And when you do this, I don't know what kind of hell that you will ever go to. Because Shri Krishna is very clear. If you do not do this kind of an action, it is very detrimental to the world. Do you understand this? So, for the maintenance of the world order, your duties you have to perform diligently. Come whatever may, don't give reasons. So even in my world, when I normally tell people, do this or do that, they poo-poo me and they say, it's okay, Guruji, we will do it tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Well, what they don't realize, they are disturbing the world order. If there is a duty to be performed, you owe it to the world, not just to yourself. So for the watch to keep the correct time, don't you think that wheel inside or the small part inside, even they used to have diamonds inside. I'm sure you know the jewels are there. It's called 17 jewel watch or all that. In the olden times it was there. Now I am wearing glasses. Okay, there is a scratch across one glass. What happens to it? The efficiency has gone down. Would you keep the glass? Or if there are scratches all over, I can show you another piece of glass over here, which I had to give up because suddenly it developed a million scratches on it. I had to give it up and then I had to buy this new one. So please understand this one thing very carefully. If you do not do your duty, and this caution, this warning comes right in the end. If you do not do the duty, and if you do not perform the way you are supposed to perform, the universe will threaten you, literally put a gun against your head and will make you perform those duties. So that's a very dangerous statement. Why should we allow the universe to do? So the reason why he says you do your duty now is for this purpose, for maintenance of the world order. Not just because you have to maintain your family, your relatives, your friends, your bosses, your company. No. You owe it to the world order. This is what this particular verse means. We will stop over here at verse 20.